the calorie composition to grams, there's 1 gram for every 4 calories. If I just burned 800 calories in a workout, how many grams would it take me to recover? It would take 200 grams of carbohydrates. But so many fighters like that I'll work with, they'll have like a banana afterwards. And it's got 25 grams. And they're like, man, by the end of the week, I'm dying, man. And I just, like, you go for a period of time, you start losing, and then all of a sudden you gorge your body. Same thing with any other aspect. Your body needs sleep. What do we do to override that system? Just load it up on caffeine. You know, guys wonder, like, why am I always tired? Why am I always this? Why am I? And then because of that, it affects other hormones. But if I give my body, okay, I need to replenish my glycogen storages, my muscles, because I just worked out my muscles, you're giving your body what it needs when it needs it. You're putting gas in the gas tank. Now at night, we increase the fat intake because when you sleep, you're aerobic. Your body's burning an excess amount of fat. Now, catabolic is basically taking the energy out of your system. Anabolic is basically feeding your body full of energy. Well, if I go to sleep and my body goes catabolic, after a period of time, if I've been dieting, my body starts eating muscle. And I know a lot of people, I hear this from a lot of people, man, after 30 years old, man, it's like your metabolism just drops, just goes, you know, I used to eat anything I wanted, and now I can't. If you look at that, giving your body what it needs when it needs it, when you turn 27, physiologically, your body stops growing, you know. If you do absolutely nothing, your body just keeps, as a male, it keeps growing until you're about 27. At that point, if you keep lifting and you keep enduring, your body will still continue to put on muscle mass, but it won't do it naturally. As you start going later on in life, 27 to 30, let's say somebody doesn't work out, you don't eat at night, just for one example, you don't eat at night. Let's say your body goes catabolic over a period of 3 hours and you sleep for 8, that's 5 hours a night, 365 days a year that your body's eating muscle. Muscle eats calories faster than anything that you can imagine. So if it's eating muscle while you're sleeping over 1 year, your metabolism is going to drop. So you eat less and you gain more weight. So increasing the muscle, not so much going into the gym, that doesn't, you know, yeah, it increases muscle, but like you're talking about the 240,000, well, I want to hold on to the muscle I got to keep the metabolism that I have.
And lastly, what would you consider one of the biggest myths of weight loss is out there? You know, a lot of people talk about the Atkins, but, you know, just general purpose, not niche to one particular group. Is there any one thing you can talk about?
Absolutely. Calories in, calories out. That's probably the biggest, I think, myth out there. People are like, well, I want to lose weight, I'm going to eat less calories. If you look at your body like a car, if you fuel a car up less, what happens to the car? It stops running, you know. If I want to increase performance, I've got to give my body, again, I know it sounds redundant, but I give my body what it needs when it needs it. If I give my body, let's say protein. Protein's a calorie, you got carbohydrates a calorie, and you got fats as a calorie. The calories that I eat from a protein, it takes 40% of my the actual caloric intake of that to digest the calories alone. So if I eat 100 calories of protein, only 60 of them are actually going to be used to possibly make me get fatter, which is in turn going to actually be very difficult because when I take in protein, I release a chemical called glucagon that tells my body to release energy, okay? A lot of us, you know, you think about like a workout, what do most people do? They take carbs before they work out, or they take carbs before they work out and they take protein after they're done. Makes sense because every bodybuilding book out there says so. But if you look at the hormones, I'm basically telling my body to release energy after I'm done working out, taking the protein after I'm done, and tell my body to store energy before I work out. Doesn't make any sense. I'm not giving my body what it needs when it needs it. Now, to put this in an analogy with the calories in, calories out, you give me 20 gallons of gasoline, and I got two vehicles, right? Each one of them has got an extra 20 gallons of gasoline outside the vehicle. One vehicle, the genius driver, puts the 20 gallons in the gas tank while it's full. What's going to happen? It's going to overfill. We get fatter. The second guy drives until that gas tank is empty, gets out of his car, and then puts the 20 gallons of gasoline into the car. Obviously, the second one is driven more because same amount of fuel. Both had the same exact amount of fuel, but one of them gave it to the car when the car needed it, just like our bodies.
Good. Now, having access to a bona fide expert in nutrition, I think, do you have the time to field a few questions?
Sure, absolutely.
If you have any questions, we can take 3 or 4 questions. Feel free to go to the microphone to ask Mr. Lockhart a question. Thad, come on, be the first for me, please. You can go on, John. Stand right behind him.
Definitely have one. Hey, what's happening, George? How
What's
you
going
doing?
on?
Hey, I'm closer to age 50 than I am 40, and I definitely recognize that life has significantly changed for me. And there's been some funky things happening with gravity. What used to be here has now levitated down a lot further. So somebody who is closer to age 50, but have all the aches and pains and maybe can't get out there and do the exercising the way that you used to, do you have any suggestions on how somebody would be able to utilize the diet and exercise, or is it just diet that'll make the biggest difference?
Diet will make the biggest difference. I kid you not. For when it comes to aesthetics is 80% nutrition. I can get somebody shredded just by diet. And you got somebody that works out extremely hard. I mean, you think about it. If you let's say go run 2 miles, it could be a difficult workout if you're sprinting that, right? You burn 600 calories. How long does it take you guys to eat 600 calories? That's like a small drink from McDonald's or something from Starbucks. They have 800 calories in Starbucks, so you can negate all of that just by, now if you work synergistically, and it's not so much, people think of activity, it's dealing with your hormones. As you get older, we have insulin resistance, we got leptin resistance, and we got cortisol resistance, right? And I'm just gonna go over these real quick. Insulin resistance, basically if you got somebody that drinks, first time they drink a beer, they might get a buzz. Second time might take 2 beers, then 3 beers. And the next thing you know, they're drinking a keg and they're talking normal because they're not getting the same effects, right? It still damages the crap out of your body. Your liver's gone, shot, but you don't get the good effects, right? Same thing with insulin. When I take in a carbohydrate, it releases insulin, which tells my body to store energy, right? My body no longer sees that the same. As I grow older, this keeps going on because my body keeps spiking insulin. It doesn't see the insulin the same way, and it doesn't have the same effects. So my body has got an abundance of insulin constantly. It's going, instead of maybe just a little bit of insulin, it's squirting out gallons of the stuff to do the same job that it used to do back in the day. So if I got an excess amount of insulin, what does that do to my body? It's constantly storing. Whatever I eat, it stores, right? Now the second level, because of that, I start gaining weight, right? Start gaining weight. What happens is we have a second hormone, leptin. Leptin tells my body that I'm full. Problem is we become leptin resistant. We start getting too much excess body weight, excess fat. What happens is my body no longer looks at leptin the same way. So it's bad because you got this person that has got an excess amount of hunger because they're leptin resistant, that's storing everything they eat because now they're insulin resistant. And one thing that gets overlooked a lot is the cortisol resistance. Cortisol is a glucocorticoid that is sent out from, I believe it's your adrenal cortex for inflammation. It's anti-inflammatory. It gets rid of inflammation. Everybody talks about cortisol as this bad thing. It's a great thing in the beginning. Problem is you become cortisol resistant because of omega-6. You've been eating omega-6, you've been eating steaks, you've been eating peanut butter all your entire life, so you become cortisol resistant. You're like, man, why am I always hurting? As you get older, your joints start hurting, you don't recover because we're not getting rid of the inflammation in our body. You start switching that out, you start taking omega-3s to be anti-inflammatory, getting rid of all that excess inflammation, you're gonna start seeing a lot of results. You start losing weight, your leptin resistance goes away, you start becoming leptin sensitive, so you start actually getting full. Cortisol, excess amounts of cortisol has been shown to actually help you gain weight because it releases insulin as well, but it's also been scientifically shown that you gain it in your gut. That's why some gentlemen, as they grow older, they're like, dude, I just gained it in one spot. It's because the excess amount of cortisol, they gain it in their gut region, which is also known to be the leading fat source or place that causes heart disease. So it's just a nasty cycle all the way down.
So I can get that resolved via diet if I had direction on what to do with that.
Yes, sir.
I will be chasing you down later on.
Absolutely.